So, in this lesson, we are learning to identify specific adaptive features of a variety of organisms, both animals and plants, and to appreciate how adaptations allow organisms to survive in hostile environments, and to recognise adaptations of organisms in different environments. An adaptation, then, is a special feature that helps an organism survive in a particular habitat. It can be a physical feature, but it also can be a behavioural feature. Your starter activity on page 12 is to first of all write a definition of what an adaptation is, and then you need to watch the 3 short David Attenborough clips and identify the adaptations of 3 organisms: the mangrove, the mud skipper, and the fiddler crab, and describe how each adaptation helps the organism to survive. Have a little look at these pictures of different organisms and see if you can work out how each of them are adapted to survive in their environments. With adaptations, you need to be able to explain how animals are adapted for survival in both Arctic and desert environments in terms of their body size and surface area, their thickness of their insulating coat, amount of body fat, and camouflage. You need to also be able to explain how plants are adapted to survive in arid conditions and how organisms are adapted to the conditions in which they live. Conditions can change throughout the year, and organisms need to be able to adapt to these seasonal changes. For example, hibernation is when animals go to sleep for a few months of the year to build up a fat layer. Migration, animals will move off to warmer climes. Insulation, many animals will grow thicker fur during the winter months, and they may shed their leaves. They may store food, and so an adaptation is a feature that allows an organism to survive in the environment in which it lives. We're going to look at specifically polar bears, Arctic foxes, camels, and fennec foxes and compare them. So in the Arctic, most of this bizarre habitat is a gigantic block of ice that floats in the Arctic Ocean. In the winter, the average temperature is about -35 degrees Celsius, and it can be dark for 24 hours. In the summer, the sun can shine all day and night. So how do some Arctic animals survive in this very harsh environment? Here we can see a polar bear cub. We can see his white fur, small head and ears, thick layer of fur, a compact body shape, and a thick layer of fat. Your task in your booklet on page 13 is to complete the table to show the adaptations of the polar bear and how each feature is a survival advantage. Here are the answers. The Arctic fox also lives in the same environment. In the summer, when the ice melts, a white coat would stand out, but a black or brown coat would stand out in the winter months against the white background of snow. The Arctic fox is able to molt and exchange its coat in the summer for white to help camouflage it in its changing environment. It also has some other features. Notice the shape of its ears, the size of them, and its paws and amount of fur it has. Penguins also live in very extreme environments, and they've adapted to survive behaviourally by huddling in groups. This reduces their surface area exposed to the harsh, bitter wind, and they can exchange places, regularly rotating the poor freezing ones on the outside with the warm and toasty ones further in the huddled group. Next lesson, we will look at the adaptations of animals that live in arid desert conditions.